I'm Clavain from the Out of This Binary YouTube channel. This is my first video, so I'll do a short introduction about myself. I'm 20, I've just emigrated to France from the UK. I used to live very near to London. I spent a lot of my time in London. And my family are from South Africa originally, both sides, so I'm the youngest in my family, the whole extended family, so I'm the only one who wasn't born over there. Yeah, I've just come over to France, which is quite scary. My French is really weak. I'm a lot better at German. I even speak better Danish, so it's pretty embarrassing, to be honest. Probably speak more Afrikaans even. Ha ha ha. Don't go to a country where you don't speak the language, kids. But it is kind of nice being socially isolated because the world's really scary. Also I'm with my partner, which is enough interaction for me, and I interact with people over the internet. Oh yeah. I live here now. I read a lot of books and comics, play a lot of games. I'm working as a tutor for English. I've got my TEFL qualification. I ended up dropping out of university, so I never got a degree, but I did finish sixth form qualifications. I did international baccalaureate. I got 38 points, which was really good. And everyone was like, go to uni, you did really well. No, thanks. I have pretty bad mental health problems, so that got in the way. Anyway, so on this week's topic of gender dysphoria, it's pretty easy to split it into two main overarching categories of social and physical. So I'm going to do physical first because that's probably shorter, and just, yeah, I do experience pretty bad physical gender dysphoria. I really don't have surgery options open to me, especially because I've just emigrated. So back home, we have a national health service, so everyone gets the same free equal medical care, but they're very minimalistic on what they cover, and it's very bare bones. So basically it is possible to get trans services on there, but you need 2 years seeing like a therapist first, like a specific therapist. There's a lot of like very transphobic rhetoric around there. There's a lot of like, are you actually trans? You have to see like 3 psychiatrists who are like, yeah, you're actually trans. Until then you're not. So it's really grim. And then even if you get past that, it's very binary. There's not really any non-binary options. And even then it's like a very straight course, so it's like, if I was there I would have to like say I'm a trans man. I'd have to be like, yeah, that's the only way I would get any treatment. And then I would have to go like down a very binary path, and I would have to like prove that I'd been like living as a man, their words. And it's just really grim, and it just wouldn't offer me what I wanted. It would be terrible for my health. So I haven't had that as an option, and now I've just moved to France and I've got a social security number here. I'm trying to get citizenship here, but also here they have another national insurance system, so I don't think it would be possible for me to get any options. Also, my partner has been transitioning on the French medical system, and I don't really want to go through what she's experienced. Sounds really horrible, and I don't think I'd get what I wanted, because I'd really like to have like top surgery and have my reproductive system removed, and like maybe a bit of testosterone, but I'm not sure because I already have hormonal imbalance just naturally, which means I smell really bad all the time, and it's kind of like that should have already had a lot of the effects that testosterone would have had on me, so I'm pretty sure it wouldn't work that well. But anyway, yes, that's the physical dysphoria experience, and it's pretty bad, but I just distract myself a lot. I think seeking out support is really good, but I find it very difficult to interact with people. But I have a very supportive partner, and we both work through our issues together in a very honest and transparent way, and I think that's the best thing for me. It's tolerable because I'm aware of it, and I have networks. I have people who support me and care about me, which is really good. Then the next segment is social dysphoria, which is a lot more complicated. So I have legally changed my name to Clavain on my passport, but I'm still at the phase where a lot of my family, especially extended family, but also like my brother, my parents, call me by my dead name a lot, even though they know I've changed it, and I don't get on too well with my family. They're not really very hot on trans stuff, and they're really not sure about. They're always getting it wrong. They're often getting my pronouns wrong, although nowadays I live with my girlfriend and her family, and they're very, they get my pronouns correct. So it's just like I try to not contact home, and then there's a whole other problem, which is that because I'm in France, everyone speaks French, and in French you have to gender yourself while you're talking in a very binary way. There's masculine and feminine, there's no neuter, there's plurals, but there's plural feminine and plural masculine. Plural masculine is also mixed plural, but basically you can't use that. It's just like completely wrong if you use those kind of endings to refer to yourself. People, especially when you have my level of French, would just think you're making a mistake. So while I actually, like, saying any sentences like, you just misgender yourself constantly, which is making it really difficult for me to motivate myself to learn French. But I'm just kind of hoping that when I get to a high enough level, I'll be able to interact with, I know there's linguistic constructs people have made out there, so that you don't have to use those pronouns, so you can use your own pronouns. I know there is a third pronoun option that someone's made, and I'm just hoping to get good enough that I can get to the point where I stop misgendering myself. And yeah, a lot of people use the wrong titles for me just when I'm outside. It makes it a pretty scary place to be. But I did get the MX title on my driver's license. That was just an option I put in custom title. I put in MX. I did it on my passport too, but only the driver's license actually put it there. A lot of my other paperwork I have the right title, which is nice, and now the right name. But like my medical people are still using my dead name. And it's quite grim, and like it's really funny because I'd always tell I've got mental health care on the National Health Service, so the same like bare bones thing that everyone got. I couldn't afford private, and they were very difficult to interact with. I really am not a fan. Honestly, they were very bad for me, and they were the kind of people where you'd tell them that you're transgender and you had this preferred name, and they'd just call you by your dead name. Consistently, despite saying that, they'd write it in the notes and then use the wrong pronouns, like letters. So that's never really worked for me. But I have ended up having a few sessions with a therapist who did gender me correctly, who was like a trans specialist, but then she didn't really understand the construct of being non-binary, and that was genuinely the closest I'd gotten to ever having anyone who would kind of understand gender issues, and it was just really difficult. So, socially, I basically have just decided that I don't want any bullshit in my life, so I pretty much cut everyone out who misgenders me or doesn't get my name right. I just don't talk to them anymore, and I have enough people who do get it right that I can just live like that. And now I'm an independent adult, I don't have to, now I don't live with my parents, I don't have to interact with them, try not to do it. Spend a lot of time interacting with animals like cats, because cats gender you correctly always. Meow is the best way of interacting with people, my opinion. Yeah, and when it comes to bathrooms, like, because I haven't undergone any physical transitional stuff, because I just don't think it's available right now, although I will explore it in the future. I have not written it off, I just really think right now it's not possible. I can just use women's bathrooms, like gender-neutral bathrooms aren't even on the radar where I live right now. It's very rural. Like lots of cows. Cows are nice. Yeah. So that's the main, like, so I get quite bad social dysphoria, but I basically just isolate myself from all of it. I'm a very sensitive person, and it just makes me super bummed out every time someone misgenders me. I think that's quite a normal response, to be honest, so I just avoid it completely. And I'm just very lucky to be in a position where I can do that, where I can basically just lock myself in a shed in the middle of nowhere with my partner and some books and go and buy a baguette every other day. Pretty much nothing else, and then I will have students. I haven't actually got anyone yet. Then I'm going to have to misgender myself with them in French, and that's going to be kind of grim. But I think I'll be okay with that, because in that kind of relationship I'm in the position of power. Yeah, so that's Clavain signing out. That's my message on dysphoria. My advice is make sure you get people in your life who understand you and who will, and I know it's hard, but there are a lot of willing, friendly people out there. Like, I have so many problems with talking to people. So you send me a message and I avoid it for like 2 years, and then 2 years later I'm like, hey, remember? And then people don't want to talk to me after that. But there are people out there who you can talk to, and people who just like consistently don't put in effort and don't try, it's just not worth it. Like seriously, cut them out. It's so horrible, just like with my parents especially, having that kind of relationship where you're just putting in so much effort and you're trying so hard to get them to do the right thing, to get them to respect you, and then they kind of just pretend like, oh, I just don't understand, oh, I'm just adapting, but you can tell that they're really not putting in any effort and they just don't want to react to you in the right way. And those kind of people will just make you miserable. You can just impose really strict boundaries. So like I phone them every now and then, and that's it. I don't let them in on my life. I don't let them know what I'm doing. But I do text them every day to get cat photos. Yeah. Moral of this story is animals are really good.